absolutely insane. Whoa, look at that takeoff. Y'all. UFO sightings have hit a fever pitch. We're jumping right into Brazil, July 28th, 2026, when during a severe thunderstorm, witnesses captured these strange red lights over the sky that made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Some scientists and experts are saying that it could be red sprites, which have been seen more lately during thunderstorms and overall weird weather patterns like severe earthquakes. However, the witnesses note that sprites tend to look more like red lightning and less like red orbs facing directly at you. Like, this makes no sense for sprites. And it's something I could dismiss as a one-off if it weren't for two other incidences. Another one in Brazil, July 25th, 2026, where we see these three orbs flashing red in the sky before shooting down a beam. In the video, you can even hear the citizens scream. Stranger still is that something very similar was captured in the United States. This is the same day in the United States from someone's window. Check this out, because they also saw red flashing through their window. Then they captured this. Does that not look eerily similar to what we just saw in Brazil the same day? And doesn't that look eerily red, just like that first clip that we saw from Brazil, that they're saying maybe sprites? Those don't look like sprites to me. Then we head over to Medellin, Colombia, July 16th, 2026, where witnesses through their window captured a strange glint. When they started recording, they realized they had captured this, what seems to be flying saucer or elongated craft, actually ascending upward through the sky. What's fascinating about this is they caught it early on. The witness says he thinks it may have just appeared out of nowhere from the cloud. They didn't see the exact beginning. The glint just caught their eye. And when they started recording, they captured it all the way up to its ascension. And I find it fascinating. You can see that there's like glimmering around it. Now, I know a lot of it is artifacting because of the way that they're zooming in. You can actually see some of the artifacting on the building below as well. But there is a prominent orb that appears in this flickering and a slightly shorter craft that almost looks tic-tac shaped under it that for a few frames, like right here, actually turns almost jet black. Something we've seen before, like a Vanta black darkness under these crafts. And it makes me wonder if it's two crafts in tandem or if this is just what the whole craft looks like. These are the working parts. And this glimmering effect and that piece that we're seeing at the bottom is the machinations that we don't know about actually at work. That's such a fascinating clip. And I love that more and more people are capturing their UFO sightings all the way to the end. I appreciate that. We're not done just yet, as another flying saucer was captured in Mexico, July 27th, 2026. Witnesses saw this dark shape in the sky, and I'm not gonna lie, at first, I was a little bit iffy. I thought maybe it could be something stuck between the power lines, but right here, you're gonna actually see that it's moving, and it passes the power lines. It's not stuck between them. It is its own moving object behind them. And again, we're getting this weird warbling, like glitchy effect. Even look at that flashing in the front. That makes no sense whatsoever. But that weird warbling, it's something that we've seen in a lot of UFOs. And again, sometimes I do think of zoom artifacting, but other times I think of maybe their cloaking devices or, again, technology that we're just not aware of having a side effect that we don't normally see. And that's like, it's technology at work, and that's what we see from it. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I see it. Next, we head over to England, July 28th, 2026, where witnesses captured something very strange. This orb of light, very much like the other ones, seemingly appeared out of nowhere. They saw the glint, they saw it a few times, it then disappeared, right? As they started recording, it like vanished, and then it appeared out of nowhere through the clouds. Now, what's fascinating about this is that it's moving so erratically, unlike any craft that we have, at an unimaginable speed. And they said that with their eyes, it looked almost like it was not solid, almost like a plasma or warbly material. They don't know exactly what it was, but they found it fascinating. And I love that clip from England because it reminds me of this older clip from 2024. Over in England on October 5th, 2024, witnesses captured this strange orb of light. Now, very much like the one we just saw in England, they said it didn't really look solid or have a form. What's interesting about this that connects it to the other ones is the witnesses saw it with a flash of red. That's what caught their eyes. And as you look at this video, look at this, whatever it is, this UFO in the sky, you can see it's flashing a bunch of colors that are not from our traditional craft. We do like red and green. This has red, blue, pink, green, aquamarine. It's flashing all of these wild colors. That's something we've seen in UFOs before. And it started with the red flash like those other UFOs. And it was shapeless like the other one in England. What is happening? And I didn't forget that it's Throwback Thursday, so we're also going to check out some mothership UFOs from different locations, as well as some 4K UFO footage that's going to change everything. It's going to change how you see these UFO sightings. Take a look. Farmlands of Belgium, March 9th, 2024, where witnesses went out early morning. This is about 6 a.m. Dew on the grass and a heavy fog in the morning, where they saw this monstrosity. This is what they've been calling a mothership saucer UFO. Witnesses say they even saw it wobbling before takeoff. You kind of see some of the wobble in the clip, and I find that fascinating because we've talked about this before. Wobbling is something that we've heard many times about flying saucers and UFO in general before they take off. Speaking of saucers, Czech Republic, October 19th, 2023, another saucer video resurfaces. This one has like a weird wobbly effect to it that you're gonna see in the video. The witness says that the saucer itself was spinning. However, when they zoom in, you see how it gets all distorted? I believe this could be one of those weird tech where they say it distorts the camera and the lensing. The red flashing light is also really weird, as it doesn't seem to be moving or wobbling like anything else on the craft. I think it's fascinating, and I don't think I've seen a UFO quite like that. There's also a resurface clip from December 30th, 2023 that makes a lot of sense right now as we have more volcanoes erupting. You can actually see a strange saucer over a volcano, and then it takes off, and then boom, we get some smoke. Absolutely fascinating, and it makes me wonder if it was interacting. What I find interesting about this clip, and what I feel like adds authenticity, is the fact that the cameraman, when the UFO flew up, he jerked up too, like to see like, whoa, what, where'd it go? Where when it's an effect or an after effect, you usually don't see that because there's nothing actually there. So your thought isn't to jerk upward because you didn't see anything, you're adding it in post. So I found that very interesting, and I feel like it adds to the authenticity. Fast forward to 2026 and we jump over to Los Angeles, July 3rd, where witnesses saw these strange lights hovering in the sky. And no, these weren't like fireworks. They were more akin to the Phoenix lights from back in the day. They were in a row, seemingly slightly curved, so one could think if this was a massive craft, maybe it would be circular, like a disc, or it could be individual lights, and they're just hovering there. Look at this, look at this. What I find really weird is the shifting in some of the colors, and they're not FAA colors, not colors we normally see in the sky. It's just really freaking weird. Now, because the holiday's coming up, the witness started calling around, calling local authorities, seeing if anyone had some type of air show happening in the area, and there shouldn't have been anything up there, which makes the whole thing even weirder. Then there's Sao Paulo, Brazil, June 28th, 2026, where a witness was sitting in his house looking out the window and started seeing sparkling. And not like a twinkling star in the sky. They said that they saw a bunch of lights sparkling, so they pulled out their phone and started recording, which honestly I would have done the same. They even took time to go outside and get a better look, and it really is just weird, flickering lights in the sky with no explanation. And I find it strange that, one, this was in June, and two, they don't really give a crap about 4th of July, so they didn't have fireworks going off. This is just weirdness in the sky with, again, no explanation when authorities are contacted. Something's gotta give. give us some answers. And we get some similar strange lights in Chile, July 3rd, 2026, where witnesses saw these flashing and sparkling lights in the sky. It wasn't quite as drastic as what we saw in Brazil, but it still left watchers baffled. Literally, people observing it were confused. At first, they thought it might have been people coming down in pyrotechnics, but some of the lights started going upward, disappearing, reappearing, and going in directions that, well, not normal for flyers. They were appearing and disappearing and going in directions that pyrotechnic flyers can't go in. So what was that? Meanwhile, over the skies of New Mexico, passengers on a plane saw this strange, elongated light craft in the sky. This was baffling and actually scared a few passengers, though it was apparently harmless and just flew by the plane. I don't know how I would feel seeing something mysterious like that so high up in the sky. More power to you for remaining calm. Next, over Palermo, Italy, July 2nd, 2026, witnesses saw a strange craft in the sky that was square in shape, like a recent UFO we covered. However, witnesses say you couldn't catch it as good on camera, but there seemed to be a pulsing in the center. Like the center was its energy source, and the pulse rippled around the whole craft. It was like water ripple, but light instead. It is what the witnesses say they're seeing with their eyes that they're trying to capture with their camera. And I find that weird and fascinating. And the liquid ripple, even though it's in light, just reminds me of Lockheed Martin and their work on living metal. And it makes me wonder where they got that technology from. Heading over to Chile, April 6, 2026, witnesses captured another strange object in the sky. At first, they thought it was an orange tic-tac shaped UFO, but when they pulled out the camera and zoomed in, they saw that it seemingly had like a bump on top and on the bottom. So it wasn't exactly a tic-tac, but it was still very strange. There's also this clip I'm a bit iffy on from Tennessee, May 1st, 2026. Witnesses saw this strange cloud formation and started recording, and the cloud allegedly started moving. Stranger still is a baffling sighting from McKinney, Texas, July 3rd, 2026, where witnesses saw this in the sky, and you can see that they're actually recording through their window. At times it defocuses, which I feel like, again, adds credibility to this video. And if you see, it looks like this MFN UFO is taking something up from the ground. What is it doing? What is it pulling up there? Is it ours? Was it theirs? Was it a probe? How is this being captured clear as day by witnesses and no one's doing anything about it? Again, what was that? And you can see, like I said, a little dirt on the reflection window that they're recording through. So you know they're recording through a window and it's defocusing on that craft. So whatever that is actually out there in the sky, pulling whatever up. What is that? Bro, what is that? And what is it taking from the earth? I would like to know. I pay a lot of money in taxes. I need to know what's getting ripped out from my property, okay? Hello? Crazy. Colombia, June 10th, 2026, where witnesses looked to the sky only to see a crazy amount of orbs all over the place. This looked wilder than the Phoenix Lights, in my opinion. The citizens were freaking out, rightfully so. They hovered in place for quite some time. Citizens have been asking local authorities for any updates, if there was any military action happening or training. And according to the government and the officials in Colombia, nothing should have been happening in the sky. So what on earth is this? Next is a resurfaced clip from Mexico 2022 where witnesses saw what they described as a oval-shaped craft flying across the sky. They said it looked almost like somewhere between a sphere and the tic-tac shapes, in that it looked almost like an oval-shaped pill, not a perfect sphere. I wish there was more to that clip, but they said that once it passed the building and went out of sight, they were too slow themselves to chase it down. Then there's this alleged clip from Germany, June 10th, 2026, that I find absolutely insane. You'll see that they captured this weird craft in the sky. It is elongated, almost tube-like in structure. There are no wings or means of propulsion. But as you saw earlier, it had a crazy spotlight on it. and it turns the spotlight on again. Like, yo, look at this. What the hell is that? And what is this thing doing? Why does it have a spotlight on? Is it searching for something? Is that, like, what was that flash there? That's absolutely insane. Whoa, look at that takeoff. And like, to me, the only thing about the video is like, the person recording isn't freaking out. So I'm like, I don't know, because I would be freaking out. Y'all, that's crazy. And I didn't forget it's Throwback Thursday, so today we're gonna take a look at some UFO footage shot from a fighter jet. Wild, real, and raw evidence that circulated in 2024 and everyone overlooked, and some of the most credible UFO sightings caught by our military that are now seemingly confirmed with the new declassifications. Enjoy. Y'all, we're back with some of the clearest UFO sightings ever, starting with one in Colombia. Now, I love this video because it's filmed by a pilot in a cockpit, and I feel that they are less likely to fake it or even want to fake this, as it's more for safety regulations for them to fly. And in this video, you can see what looks like a sphere or even a cube within a sphere, because it did seem to have points. This fighter jet video is from the USA, and it appears to be a Tic Tac zipping over the water. I mean, this thing is going fast, and air resistance means nothing to it. I love this video. Here we have another laser pointer video, and I like these because we get to see the subject in the sky trying to avoid the laser pointer. However, I have pointed out and seen that these could be bats. They have been before, just trying to avoid the laser so they can stay on their flight path, which I respect. I love this. Now, this is definitely, you can tell it's metallic. It's definitely Tic Tac shape. Look how it changes direction. It looks like a metal pipe. And look how fast it actually went. Vroom. That's how fast it went. That is wild. Here in Italy, we have this strange light in the sky. Now, it's making some weird motions as the camera moves, but when he zooms in, you'll see that it actually opens, almost like a portal, if you will. Look at this, look at this. And then it closes back up. That is wild. And I haven't seen like a ring portal this clear from someone's phone, meaning we do have the capability to capture it, okay? But I love it. Look at that. Look at that. And you can see how when it closes, like the energy almost like snaps together like a rubber band and kind of wobbles a little bit. Insane. Here's another clear UFO video, this one coming from England. Now, a lot of these UFOs, I definitely feel that they are interstellar or interdimensional travelers. However, I do feel that some of these instruments could possibly be probes. Like the one that we just saw in England, it kind of looks like this one in the USA, right? Do you see how it's like a metal tube or a metal pipe? This one too in Spain. These could be probes. Maybe they're testing the air. Maybe they have cameras in. I mean, we don't know. They're, if they are extraterrestrials or interdimensional, they're much more advanced than us, and they're way above what we're going to be thinking about. But this does not look like a transportation vehicle to me. Granted, I'm not an alien, so I don't know how I would travel, but that looks more like a pod that's doing research. This is cool. We can see a lot of UFOs and UAPs flying to and from volcanoes and mountains. I love that we got to see this one coming from the sky and then do that sharp turn. Look at it leave. Look at it leave. That is a UAP UFO. That was anomalous. This was captured in the USA. It's apparently two fighter jets chasing an orb. Now, I've seen a lot of these turn out to be fake, but this looks more like a happenstance video. Like, didn't necessarily mean to record. In this one in the US, we can actually see a chemtrail zipping upward and a dark object, kind of looks like it has four sides, dropping from the sky. It could have been a drone, but I love how this dude sees the guy standing where it was. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to close my window. I'm out of here. Here we have another supposed video of fighter jets chasing an orb. I like these. Again, we've seen some fake ones, but I like them because if they are legit, then we have some really clear footage. This is one of the most famous UFO sightings. This is the UFO sighting in Turkey, where the UFO got so close and the person was able to get their camcorder, not just record the object itself, but record an opening in the object from which we can see, apparently, the beings that are driving this vehicle. And if you see, like we can see here in their image, it's a little blurry, but they do resemble closely the grays and these aliens that we are used to. So I find that to be very, very fascinating, and it is yet to be debunked. Here we have one from Jeremy Corbell. He is checking. Look at all these things popping up on the radar. I'm sorry, if I were flying and all of a sudden all these little objects boop, 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 pop, I would be freaking out. This one in Norway, I'm a little more skeptical about. It is definitely interesting. We see the light in the background and then it starts moving. However, it is blinking, kind of like how our stuff blinks. And the way that it moves isn't necessarily, even though it was stationary then moved, it wasn't necessarily anomalous. This could have been a drone for a news station, just checking something out, and then just dipping away. Again, I love these plane shots, right? This one I looked into a little bit. I try to zoom in and find artifacts because a lot of the plane shots are false, right? But here you can actually see as he tries to zoom in, the light distorts because it's a real light in the sky. So as he zooms in, it's his aperture and the exposure on his phone literally cannot handle this light. So what is this super bright light? It almost looks like a star in the middle of the air as he's flying wherever the hell he's going to. I think this is a really good one. Very, it had a blur to it, but we saw the light clearly in the beginning, which I really enjoyed. And I like that he zoomed in and it gave us that feel of realism. Now, this one is on the news. It could be a Tic Tac. Simply because, look, when we zoom in here, this is a news camera. If it were a plane, we would normally be able to see wings from this distance. It would also have like a flatter underbelly to it, which it didn't. I feel like that was a Tic Tac. The news just happened to catch it. This we've all seen. This is that clear UFO UAP video that's been going around everywhere. Look at that thing. It almost looks like a slug as opposed to a flying saucer, if you will. Don't you see that? Do you guys not see a slug? Or am I crazy? I love this USA night vision one. This is another real clear one. Not necessarily the clear object, but if we see this thing moving here, watch it stop. Here is a complete shift and change in direction. It just turned to the right. Our aircrafts cannot do that. That change in direction is insane. That was definitely a UAP, and that was in space. Like they were stargazing and using their telescope to record the night sky and do a time lapse. So I think that is fantastic and fascinating. This is also wild. It reminds me of that first tube Tic Tac we saw that did the sharp turn. Blows my mind. Here is the U.S. Navy gimbal, but without all of the data and actually just the image of what you would be seeing with your eyes while you were in the air. This is also, it's stunning. You can see the clouds moving and everything. The wind resistance does nothing to this thing. Here it does the tilt that we saw in the video. Look at it. Rotating on its axis. Wild. These UFOs and UAPs are here. And y'all, this isn't even all of the clearest videos. We have more to come. So I'm really excited for this little clear video series that I'm doing. Make sure that you like and subscribe. If you love UFO videos, ring the bell. But remember, this is a variety channel, so it's not only UFO videos. So keep that in mind when you ring that bell. This is another fascinating one. I love that it's actually giving us what we see with the radar. But then look, without the infrared, there's nothing in the sky. What the hell is going on? These UFO sightings are getting stranger and stranger, with weird little orbs darting across the sky, crafts being caught by passengers on planes, and strange geometric shapes appearing in the sky. Like, what the hell is going on? Let's start with these strange lights posted by Coach Life from Canada, who claims that the lights stood there and hovered for about an hour before disappearing. Check this out.
You think they're all planes? And you can hear the helicopters, right? No. There's a helicopter over there. What is this? There's a split.
That was really weird, especially how bright they were, and they were two different shades of colors. It's just such a strange sighting. Next, we have another gem by John Leonard Walson, who's going to be linked below, who captured this strange UAP using a modified thermal camera. This is like nothing I've ever seen. Check it out. What was even happening there? What was that thing doing? And what were all those little things around it? That makes no sense. And I'll tell you, that is not a plane or a commercial drone or whatever the hell the government's been saying. That's just weird. As is this next sighting from Georgia that seemingly shows several UAP almost crashing into each other. Again, like nothing I've ever seen. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. I'm sorry, that came really close, and they did look like they were about to collide. What I found strange is that one was like kind of like an elongated shape, almost like maybe that was a tic tac, and then the other one was an orb. That was weird. Well, I mean, I guess we're kind of used to weird lights now, with those weird lights that were popping up all over the place, like the ones we saw in the Philippines and in New Jersey, and the one that I called the Phoenix lights too. Well, it turns out there's a second angle to those Phoenix lights. Check this out.
UFOs or Phoenix lights, who knows?
What's weird about those lights is how they just sit there and how all witnesses describe them just sitting there sometimes for several hours. And the reason I like this particular angle is because not only do you see these lights in a row and you can see that they're above the houses as he looks onward, but if you notice in the distance there was like a little flashing light, which is like a traditional plane just flying across the sky, that you can see in comparison to whatever the hell that was that we just saw. Next is one of the strangest UFOs I've ever seen, as it's not just an orb or one of these drones or whatever the hell is flying around. It's actually in a weird cryptic shape to the point where, I mean, I don't know what it could be. Check it out.
What the? What the? Do, 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 do. See, there's another one up here. Do, 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 do.
Now, the reason I hesitated is because I looked at that and I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's got to be like maybe a kite or something with LED lights. But the person recording said that it was very, very high up, too high up to be a kite. And usually, when it is one, like we've seen this happen before, someone on Reddit or on Twitter or just pop out of nowhere with the exact make and model you can buy on Amazon. And no one's done that yet. And that's a very strange shape. It looked like the shape they have, the two snakes on the staff for the hospital. That's what that looked like. What? Why would that even be on a kite? Why would a UFO be like that? What is happening? But it doesn't stop there. Next, we have what is probably one of the best captures of a UFO ever. we talk about traditional UFOs and strange anomalies, and we always hear about the bubble they put around themselves, like the gravitational field bubble that warps space and time, and how there's actually something spinning inside. We've heard of spheres within cubes, within spheres, within cubes, and glowing objects that are sometimes transparent. But this is probably the clearest image we have of a UFO seemingly spinning around within a force field or gravitational bubble or whatever it may be. I want to hear you guys in the comments. Check out this video.
Oh, Madison's getting a good video of it, dude. Come to my house, man. You can see it from my house. Oh. Oh, Madison will probably put it up on YouTube, man. You can probably find it on YouTube. Take the best video, man, because I'm probably going to turn this one into...
Y'all, that was a crazy video. Like, I really feel like you could see the, I guess, the centerpiece of the craft spinning, and then it almost looked like it domed up like it looked like a spinning top in the sky in its own personal little bubble. That's a great freaking capture, and thank you, UFO Stalker Cases, for uploading that, because I feel like this is great evidence, and we should all really start dissecting this video. What'd I say? I told you guys these sightings are only getting weirder and weirder. I want to know what's going on, and I really want to know what's happening in that last sighting. We're back with some of the most credible and incredible UFO sightings throughout the years. We're starting today's list with the UFO in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico that was caught in 2013. This video is actually from the Department of Homeland Security. Not only is it captured by one of our Department of Defense, but it also highlights a lot of the strange characteristics of UFOs, UAPs. Like for this one, we're seeing almost like a white energy field. I mean, we can't really tell in the infrared, but it kind of hovers around the ship and stays in very, very close proximity, if you notice. Here we can also see how it freely submerges itself in the water. And I mean, there's like no resistance at all. Like its speed isn't slowed down at all. We're tracking it at the same speed as we were when it was in the air. Now this is where things get really strange, as the UFO splits into two different objects. It splits into two different objects before resubmerging into the water. What the hell is this? This follow-up is also a split into UFO. This was caught by Jeff Woolwine in 2004, and he claims to have many other videos and recordings that have been unreleased because of how he recorded at that time. He didn't have a computer, and he didn't have a phone. We didn't have smartphones back then, so he recorded it analog and had a tape that had to get turned into DVD. It was a whole process. But he's finally putting these out there, and these are actually the Phoenix Lights in Phoenix, Arizona, but the 2004 incident. He has a few videos of these, but I chose this one specifically because, as you can see here, the object starts to split in two, kind of what we saw in the Aguadilla video. The difference here is that this is not an infrared video, it is just a regular video, so we're seeing it how it would be seen with the naked eye. Here, as Jeff zooms in, we can see that the UFO is becoming two distinct and different light objects before they start to fade away or disappear, or whatever it is that they do. This is a great wild video of either lightning striking a UFO or extremely rare wild ball lightning. Either way, it's mesmerizing.
Yo, what the?
This beautiful shimmer of light, or possible tear in space-time, was caught in California. At first I was a bit skeptical as it looks almost reflective, but the person actually zooms out and we can see, look, there it is in the sky. They actually are far away. They saw this light in the sky and zoomed in to check on it. So it isn't just a lens reflection, which I genuinely thought at first. I don't know what it is, but it looks super cool, and honestly, it looks beautiful. Let me know what you think about that one in the comments below. Some of these are fascinating. The colors, the shapes, the geometry. It's so far beyond what we know. And I love that. I'm excited to hopefully one day learn about this new tech, but also just everything that they're doing. What's happening in our skies? How are these things happening? The government is like trickling down the information. It's driving me crazy. Just tell us already. Y'all, I hope that you enjoyed. I hope you had so much fun. If you enjoyed this video, smash like. There'll be more like this. I'll see you in the next one.